Welcome to Fortel's Women's Health Podcast. I'm Sharon Slinger from Constructing Rainbows, an EDI consultancy working with Fortel. Today we're talking about menopause, a topic that has traditionally been misunderstood, under-discussed or avoided altogether, particularly in industries like construction. Construction is a physically demanding, high-pressure and still largely male-dominated environment, but more women are choosing to build long-term careers here, and many will experience menopause while they're still working at the height of their skills and experience. Menopause isn't just about hot flushes or a certain age. It's a significant health transition that can affect energy levels, sleep, concentration, memory, confidence, mental well-being and physical resilience, all of which are critical in a safety-focused industry like ours. Yet for many people, it remains something they feel they have to manage quietly rather than something they can talk openly about. And it's really important to say this up front. Menopause doesn't just affect women. While women make up a large proportion of those experiencing menopause, it can also affect trans men and non-binary people who experience menopause, often facing additional barriers to being understood or supported at work. Hormonal changes linked to medical treatments, such as men undergoing prostate cancer treatment, can also cause menopause-like symptoms that impact physical and mental health in very similar ways. So although today's conversation will often refer to women because that reflects many people's lived experiences in the language most commonly used, this is a discussion about people, health, dignity and inclusion. Understanding menopause better helps all of us create workplaces where no one feels invisible, isolated or unsupported because of changes happening in their body. This episode is part of a wider conversation about equality, diversity and inclusion in construction. It's not about blame and it's not about ticking boxes. It's about awareness, empathy and making sure people can stay healthy, safe and productive at every stage of their working lives. I'm joined today by three guests who bring very different but equally important perspectives. We have Jen Evans from Fortel, who is sharing her lived experience of menopause while working in the industry, giving us a real and honest insight into what this can look like day to day. We're also joined by Veleta Smith-Carter, HR Manager at Fortel, who will talk about the organisational challenges, the impact on retention and wellbeing, and why this is a growing issue for the construction sector. And finally, we're joined by Lisa Chadwick from Motivate, who brings a health and fitness perspective, focusing on how menopause affects the body and mind, particularly in physically demanding roles, and what people can do to support their health and well-being at work. This conversation is for anyone experiencing menopause, for managers and colleagues who want to be more supportive, and for leaders who want to build inclusive, high-performing workplaces. Even if you think this doesn't affect you directly, it almost certainly affects someone you work with. So wherever you're listening from, site, office or home, we hope this episode helps break down stigma, builds understanding and encourages more open, supportive conversations across our industry. So, starting with you, Veleta, can you briefly introduce yourself, your role and why this conversation about women's health matters to you personally or professionally?
Hi, I'm Veleta Smith-Carter. I'm the HR Manager for Fortel. As an HR Manager, I see the very real impact that ignoring women's health has on retention, performance and well-being. Personally, I've seen how easily it is for talented women to struggle in silence if the culture doesn't match and they don't feel that they can speak up. That's why this conversation is genuinely important to me.
Yeah, absolutely, Veleta. I think it's a topic that, as I said, that's been ignored for too long, and now it's starting to come on people's radar. Jen, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Jennifer Evans. I'm rail manager, supervisor for Fortel, so I deal with all the rail staff and some of the civil staff as well. Most of the workers and operatives that I deal with work on the major project, as you know, we have in the West Midlands, the HS2. I was asked to join this, and I think I wanted to give a personal perspective on how it impacted me, because when on the onset of menopause, and I started pretty early, I got no help. I just plodded on, did the work, didn't take any time off. But there were things that were happening to me inexplicable. I mean, of course, I had to keep going to the doctor, but it's important. And I just wanted to, at this podcast, to just give my perspective as to how it impacted me personally.
That's brilliant. Thanks for joining us for doing that.
Thank you.
Lisa?
What a calm voice. I want to try and follow that. That's a lovely calm voice.
Thank you very much.
Yes, hi. Thank you for asking me to join you from a health and fitness point of view. I'm Lisa Chadwick from Health and Fitness, Lisa Chadwick Health and Fitness, 58-year-old postmenopausal woman, and I specialise in training with midlife ladies. I actually found a niche there and thought that's what I'd do. I am absolutely passionate about exercise myself. I've been exercising since I was this tall, and I'd like to then empower other menopausal women with how they can keep fit and healthy during these challenging years, which I'm sure you'll agree are. As a PT, I think I see it's both a privilege and a responsibility to help support women in reclaiming trust and confidence in their own bodies and actually learning to accept what they are now as opposed to what they were when they were 20 years old, for example. Yeah, and I have to see it through those glasses as well. Meno Strength accredited. I work with weights predominantly, although I am training for a marathon at the moment, so I'm contradicting a little bit. We'll explain about that in a bit. And I run my own personal training business from my home in Sutton Coldfield. I'm a co-founder of a online menopause support group, which is a membership, monthly membership. Videos are in there where ladies can exercise in their own home. And I work alongside that with a lady called Sue Copeland, who is a menopause and midlife coach. I also work very closely with a menopause specialist in Sutton Coldfield. So, yeah, menopause is my bag, but from an exercise perspective.
Brilliant. Well, as somebody who doesn't really like to exercise, I think I'm
we'll get you there, Sharon.
Going to learn a lot from you today.
We'll get you there.
So, Veleta, obviously Fortel have decided to focus on women's health. Why have you decided to address that rather than, just something nice to have?
I would say from an HR point of view, it's become unavoidable. We could see the very real impact. Our experienced, capable woman was struggling in silence. Some cases, they were considered leaving the industry. That translates indirectly into a retention risk, basically, because you're looking at people leaving an industry like construction, which we really don't really want. It also increased absence levels. We would lose skillful people, which we don't really want to lose that experience and skill from the construction industry, especially when it comes to women, knowing that women are not a lot in construction and they're minority. So once you see the real connection, women's health stop being option and become more of a core people and business issue.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Veleta, because we lose women from the industry a lot sooner than we do men, and a lot around that kind of 50-year mark, and actually that's probably some of it if they're not getting looked after.
I think it's also, whilst you say the 50 mark, I don't want to give my age, but I am in my 40s and I'm starting to go through that experience as well. It is not very talked about, but women in their 40s do start going through what they call it perimenopause. And from my experience, it is becoming a bit wider now. More people seem to be going through perimenopause and identifying that it's not just the menopausal, but the perimenopause, which is also affecting women in the workplace as well. So
I think we're a lot more aware of it, aren't we now? That's the thing.
And I think that's it. Like at school, you learn about periods, but
that's it.
And I think about menopause, you just think your periods stop and that's it. And you're looking forward to that point.
It save a bit of money here.
To me, it wasn't until I watched Davina McCall's programme a few years ago. I watched it with my wife and we sat there and I was like, wow, had no idea about all of this. And to be fair, that was a probably shouldn't be talking about my wife on here, but that was when she started going to the doctors and saying, actually, you know, what I've got, I think, you know, it's perimenopausal and I need HRT.
When you started arguing, you mean?
Well, we've got like teenage daughters and perimenopausal wife in the household. So, but yeah, I think the educational piece, it's so good that, you know, women are getting out there now and talking about, you know, the challenges that some of them face. And you're right, Veleta, I'm also in my 40s, and waking up just covered in sweat, it's absolutely disgusting. And
that's without exercising.
It's also the brain fog and
Yeah.
the concentration
Yes.
that hits
Yes.
you as well,
Yeah.
and the memory. So it's not just about, you hear about the sweating and all of that, but it's also taken into consideration, oh, there's brain fog. Oh, I think the first time I heard about brain fog was COVID, but now you're hearing it a lot more with menopause. There's the brain fog, the concentration, and also the memory issues that are coming into it.
Yeah, I think I found when I had the onset of menopause, I thought I was getting Alzheimer's. Because I'm working, how do you tell someone, you know, are you standing there sort of looking into space, and then you're trying to think, oh, you know, did I do this or did I not do this? Did I remember? And then you're trying to tell someone, look, I'm going through menopause, just give me a few. They're not going to, you know, understand what it is you're about. Oh, you come to work, and I've walked from home and I've walked to work and I sat at my desk and I look like I'm sitting in a puddle because I'm all sweaty. The hair that I spent all morning on now is a frizz ball, you know, and you're just saying to yourself, well, what's going on? Now, in my case, I also had, I don't know if anyone else has had this, the thyroid problem, because the imbalance in your hormones, it threw my thyroid out.
Yeah, well, your metabolic rate will slow down.
Yes,
as well, through
well,
lack of estrogen. So
yeah,
it's this never-ending cycle.
It's never, well, with me, it started off with me, the metabolic rate being really, really high, to the point where I didn't even have to exercise. I was just losing the weight.
oh wow,
Just
Right.
out.
Out of a job then.
I was just losing the weight because you know, I walked all the time, but I just didn't have to do anything. I just sat at my desk and I'd just lose another pound. You
Well,
know,
I like this.
it was
Nice.
I'd just lose another pound. It was just going on and on. But like Veleta said, where do I go? Who do I speak to? I couldn't speak to anybody. I can't. You know, all they want is, oh, Jennifer, have you done that? Have you gone to site? Have you done this brief? They're not going to ask you, you know, are you all right? You know, no, I'm menopausal. Can I not go? Oh, it's got to be done by the end of this week. And you're thinking, there's no one here for me.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
I think from what Jen say, it's kind of difficult to hear that, because it thinks that she feel that she had to push through
Yeah.
raw and suffer in silence rather than seeking the support that she need.
I didn't know where to go, though.
Sometimes it's not the symptoms,
Yeah.
it's more of the culture, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's a cultural thing, that you didn't feel safe or didn't know where to go.
I had nowhere to go. I
in
mean, at the
terms of-
time when, at the onset of my menopause, and I was working for a really large company at the time, and it started early. I just didn't know, well, who do I go to? There wasn't, like now, you know, you have like the Lighthouse charity, and you know, I go to site and I brief the guys on this, but there's nothing for women. There simply wasn't anything, and I've always worked in construction in one area or another, but because they expect most people on site to be men, this is not addressed for the women.
I think from an employer, it's where we're looking at how can we help people to speak up more.
Yeah.
Because if people don't know where to go, if
Right.
there's not this open conversation and they
Yeah.
don't know where to go,
Yeah.
basically we're not getting the best out of our people.
True.
And again, this can lead to disengagement and burnout, which we don't want, especially in construction.
Yeah.
So it's having those open conversation and these awareness, so people know that the business is there to support them and they can raise it whenever they feel that they are going through these issues, then there's somewhere or someone who they can speak to about this, who will listen to them, rather than thinking, oh, I don't really want to tell them, oh, I don't know where to go.
But you see, at the same time, and what you said is correct, if we, and as I said, I go to a number of sites and I do briefings, even if the audience on these briefings and these sites I go to are just men, just imparting that information to the men themselves so they know what to expect, or how to receive maybe their wives, girlfriends. They're not in the dark. So this is not just information for the women in construction, but also for the men who can recognise their partners, and anyone else, and say, well, that's what Jennifer talked about, so this is what I'm to expect.
Who also go through what we call andropause, so they have similar symptoms. Yeah, obviously not all of them, because they haven't got the estrogen, the ovaries and that kind of thing, but they will go through what we call andropause. So it would be important to maybe look at that at some point and address that within the workplace.
So we've done a bit of training on andropause. So I did a session on both menopause and andropause, and I had a lot of males saying, oh, was that a thing? Yeah. So I think sometimes it's that awareness bit, bringing that awareness bit, which they didn't actually thought about.
I completely agree, and I think it's great that you're going out and talking to sites, because I've found that actually it just gives them time and space to have these conversations and think through these things, because it is, construction sites, very pressured environments, and you often don't have time to have those conversations.
Right,
and so it's great to see that you're doing that. Was there ever a point where you considered reducing hours, or changing roles, or even leaving the industry?
Well, that was my idea for the start of this year, actually, because I just turned 65. And I was just saying, I've got to stop this. I've got to slow down. I don't want to be retiring when I'm decrepit and barely move. But one reason or another, I'm still here. So
you must be good, Jen.
I'm still plodding on.
I think that is one of the things, because Jenny's got many, many years of experience. She's a talented, experienced person, especially in our industry, especially in the construction and rail industry. So it is a serious issue to think that women feel that they have to sacrifice whilst going through the menopause, because they have to give up their work in order to go through the symptoms, because it's so misunderstood.
Yeah, I think a lot of women think that they've failed, and it's just simply a biological change. Yeah. We haven't failed. We've just got to address a different way of managing because the hormones have changed so much. And I get this a lot with my ladies who I train with, which we'll come on to if that comes into your chat, Sharon. But I'll carry on now. I've started. I think in terms of exercise, they're massively affected, because the three main hormones being estrogen, progesterone and testosterone, and I'm not a menopause doctor or specialist, but obviously I'm aware of these hormones, having them myself and having the decline in them myself. My menopause doctor calls estrogen the party hormone, so that's going to affect all the good stuff, that is, in terms of the brain, the mood, the growing of the hair, the nails, the bones, the bladder, everything. And then we come on to progesterone, which she calls the duvet hormones, which helps calm us and our sleep and stuff like that. So, and then obviously testosterone is another thing entirely. But I think when these hormones decline, it has a massive effect on not only our fitness, which is where my expertise, but as you said, Jen, your ability to cope, your brain fog, so you're not getting the sleep, which is then causing the brain fog.
I found that, yes, I'm not sleeping at all.
So sleep deprivation is awful, and obviously for ladies in the construction industry, I would imagine, not that they've ever been involved in that at all, or had a client from the construction industry, but from a safety point of view, that must be quite quite sort of scary to think that they're going to get up and feel shattered. They're going to get brain fog. Some may be wearing the is it PPE equivalent?
Yeah, the PPE.
So they're going to get
changes.
the emotional changes, the hot sweats.
Yeah.
And I think all of these things, if they're not managed, HRT isn't for everyone. It's helped me massively, but I think if these hormone changes aren't managed or recognised, then us ladies in any industry will suffer, unfortunately.
Has anyone I have not been... It wasn't recommended to me, and I've never taken it. The HRT replacement hormones. Does anyone...
Yes, I do.
How did that help you?
Well, from a fitness point of view, I went to see a menopause specialist, Sarah Ball, from Healthy Menopause in Sutton Coldfield. Brilliant advice I got from her, and she actually pinpointed what I needed, basically. And in terms of my exercise, I strength train, I run, and to be in front of other ladies absolutely sweating with brain fog, tired, yawning, not even remembering their name wasn't a good thing. So I thought, right, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and go to see someone. Sarah pinpointed everything for me. She said, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to take. And everybody has that reluctancy at first because it's not always understood what HRT can do. And I think times have gone by where there's been negative chat about it.
Yes, I have heard that.
That's been turned around massively. But even so, that apart, I did go on HRT and I have never, ever looked back. My estrogen levels, my progesterone and testosterone is hopefully now well balanced enough for me to, not feel that I'm 20 again, but to actually do the stuff that I need to do and to do that with my ladies as well. So again, it's not the be all and end all. It's not for everyone, but yeah, it's worked for me. And I'm now training for a marathon. Who'd have thought?
Yeah,
At 58.
I never thought. I never thought I would approach I think maybe because I had the thyroid issue, and that taking medication for that, taking it on top of HRT. And, you got this overload of medication that you're taking to balance one thing or another. I just figured, it's just part and parcel of just getting old. Deal with it, suck it up and just carry on.
Yeah, but if you can, I say to my ladies, I think we have to embrace where we are now. I'm the first to say, I wish I could do that plyometric jump I did when I was 20.
Yeah.
I wish I could run 100 metres in 14 seconds. But I think as long as we're moving, as long as we're doing something, our muscle mass and our bone density decreases massively from the age of 30. And if we don't take care of that, we are in danger of sarcopenia, osteoporosis, muscle imbalance. Everything can go wrong with us, and we want to get off the floor when we're elderly, and we want to play with our grandkids, don't we? We don't want to be sitting on the floor not being able to move. And I think that's the focus. Keep moving, keep your body strong, keep your muscles strong, and do it correctly within the realms of your own fitness, your ability.
And I think from an HR perspective, I think that's where the conversation need to have. We need to start having these conversations, not shy away from having these conversations in the workplace, because having these conversations allow people to understand and become more aware and are able to talk about it more openly, and adjustments can be made, because instead of them suffering in silence, speaking up about it, and there's training that's been done within the workplace, then that will then lead to them getting the right support that they need, rather than it going down as a performance issue. Because sometimes what somebody's going through, the fatigue, the brain fog, the concentration issue, that can be misunderstood as a performance issue. When it
disinterested
actually
in their
comes
work.
down to it, it's actually them going through something different.
The hormone imbalance.
Exactly. And if the company or your employer or your manager is not aware of it, then unfortunately they can't support you in the way that is right for you. So these open conversation would lead to people kind of having the right support that they need, and especially that the support, it doesn't fit everyone, because what is suitable for me might not be suitable for you. So it's getting the right support, because not one type of support fits everyone.
So not one size doesn't fit all.
No.
Exactly, We need some fitness classes at Fortel, don't we?
Well, we do. I think,
We
know
need
what?
some lunch break movement patterns.
I think one of the reasons why I haven't, even at my age, the reason why I haven't left the construction industry is because, for me, it keeps me active.
Brilliant.
Because, you're not, for me, I'm not sitting in the desk.
Yeah.
And some sites I'm walking maybe a mile or two to get from the actual office to the actual place of where the
You're
work
hitting
is.
your step count then, aren't you?
So
Dad?
pretty much, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, I am active. So that's probably one of the reasons why, even if I didn't, I would still do that. Even if I did retire, I'd stay home, walk the dog, live near a canal, plenty of things to do.
So, unfortunately, this lands usually at the peak of people's career. The timing of
Yeah.
it does. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Mother Nature existed, but to be honest. Do you think that with the educational piece, there's a risk of a backlash against women of a certain age in terms of, they're going to be rubbish at that age, we're not going to give them a job, a bit like they're going to disappear as soon as they get pregnant kind of thing?
I think as an HR profession, I should say no, because that's what it should be. But sometimes when people aren't aware, I should say, of what it's all about, they can put it down as people being difficult. So I think in terms of the backlash, in terms of people starting out in their career at a later age and people saying them being difficult, I think as a responsible employer, we should think about everyone's needs. We talk about EDI, everyone being inclusive. So as a responsible employer, for me, I would always work for a responsible employer. If I work for an employer who say, I don't want Jennifer because Jennifer is going through the menopause, so she'll be difficult. Or
I think I'll be difficult even without it.
then for me, that's not an employer I would want to work for. So for me, a respectable employer is one that thinks about inclusion, about everyone, not just about hiring just people who are young and fit and able, but think about, yes, we are going through the menopause and perimenopause, but we are still fit and able, and we are still capable of completing our job with a bit of reasonable adjustments. And that's all we're actually asking for. We're not asking to have a whole week off or a whole 2 weeks off. Sometimes it's just about that, probably starting a bit later or finishing a little bit earlier, probably adjusting the temperature in the office. Or simple things like that we're asking for. So from an HR perspective, I would say, whilst it might be an issue, I think from my perspective, I've never come across it. All the employers I've worked with and previously worked with have all been very inclusive in including everyone, whether it might be trans men or whether it might be people in their older age. Because if you think of trans men, we just got to make sure that when we talk about menopause, we are making it a workplace and a people issue, not a woman issue.
So Lisa,
yes, Sharon.
Obviously, we're very busy women. We get exhausted. Last thing we want to do after a hard day at work is go out for a run or whatever.
How do we get around that?
Yeah, how do you get around that?
Well, I'm here. I can help you.
I kind of need a bit of help, so this would actually help me.
It's
going
very
forward.
hard. I mean, I think some of my ladies turn up at what I call my happy hut. I've got a home gym in the garden, and we call it the happy hut because
Has it got gin?
They go home. Gym. GYM, Sharon, not GIN. Yeah, we'll have that after this. All right. I think the way we have to look at it is you have to find something that you enjoy. That's really, really important, and there must be some kind of movement that you enjoy. I'm taking no hostages. There's just something that you enjoy. I think once you find something that you enjoy and you feel benefit from, it's making you feel better, it's making you feel more empowered, it's giving you that bit of energy. A lot of my ladies come to me and they get to the front door and they look at me and think, I don't want to do this. And they go out smiling, they go out laughing, and we make it fun. Right? So we still keep it professional, but we make the session fun. To somebody that doesn't want to do anything, that's a really good question.
Yeah, I don't want to do anything.
Let me just have a think about that one. I mean, I would encourage what I call exercise snacking, and that's not eating hobnobs, by the way, right? Nothing to
Snacking,
do.
I'm in.
Nothing to do with food. Exercise snacking is just finding 10 minutes here and there to do something. Right, and until you find that routine of, and I'll give you an example. I get my ladies to squat while they're cleaning their teeth. Right, just you clean your teeth and you're squatting.
Yeah.
I tried
Right?
that too.
Have you?
But
Does
I
it
don't.
work?
I don't always remember.
Right, okay.
But I
so
do
we need
when
to
I
set the alarm,
remember.
yeah. And now you've got your countertop in the kitchen to do some push-ups on
Yeah.
the countertop, to make sure you use the stairs when you go to a building, not the lift. You know, go and walk the dog, or get a fitness. I mean, they're not always totally accurate.
Yeah.
I say it myself, but I'm sure I do more steps than my watch tells me. But you know, make sure that you've got some kind of goal, some kind of plan
Yeah.
to adhere to, and just start small and listen to your body. That's what I'd say, because there's so much out there on social media. You know, we should be doing this, we shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing what your body allows you to do at our age, and we need to embrace what we can do, basically. I could go on for hours. It depends how long I've got.
And are we supposed to be eating lots of protein?
Yes, that's the next thing. Yeah, protein is a priority. So if you remember P for priority, that doesn't mean that we go on these mad keto diets and cut out carbohydrates, because the right carbohydrates will then give us our
Chips.
energy. No,
No.
to exercise, right? So, yeah, make protein a priority, make hydration a priority, because without hydration, you're going to get tired, you're going to get that sleep deprivation, and it is that rolling cycle. So, yeah, hydration, especially for ladies on site, sips of water constantly, not a gallon at a time. Protein foods, fishes, chickens, meats. If you're vegetarian, you've got all the beans and the grains, so there's no excuse. And just eat healthily if you can. And I always say take that 80-20 approach. You know, we're not all perfect, are we? Not even me. And we look at that 80% of the time, try and do what you can do best, and then let yourself go for that other 20, and then you're not feeling that you've gone all the way.
So,
Does
Jen,
that
are
make sense?
you doing all this?
Well,
She is.
I'll be honest with you. I
She'll
tell
be
you
after
what,
this.
because I've got pictures of me, because I was really into gym, and I've got pictures of me on a beach in Montego Bay.
You got your six-pack.
I did have it. Now I haven't. But this is one of the most frustrating thing about this change, hormonal change, is my now 26 waist is now 30 something, because I had really tiny waist, and it's now 30, and no matter what I did, it was just, that was the frustrating thing. You're used to the tight bod and the abs and whatever, and then all of a sudden now everything's just like blancmange. You just sort of let go.
Unfortunately, it does collect around our
Yeah,
middle.
yeah,
And one of the
mid.
reasons for that is if we overdo exercise, say it's me who's training for the London Marathon at the moment, if we overdo exercise, we can raise at our ages now our cortisol levels, our stress levels. That then encourages us to want to comfort eat and
Yes.
eat sugary foods
Yeah.
and all this kind of, and as I say, I'm not a menopause expert, but this is what happens generally. So choosing the right kind of exercise for our age group is imperative, i.e. strength training should be at the top of our list. But yeah, and the cookies have got to go.
No, I don't really eat the cookies.
Veleta, how do you support site-based or operational roles when flexibility is obviously harder? You talked about that earlier, about the starting later or finishing earlier.
In terms of site-based role, then I would say, even though we don't have direction and control over our site-based workers, it's having open conversation, is letting them know that we are there to support them to speak up when whether they're going through the menopause or regardless of whatever they're going on when we send them on a site. And also in regards to them speaking up, we also collaborate with our clients and also ensure that whatever reasonable adjustments we can support them with the client. We and the client work together to see what reasonable adjustments might be possible. It's not always possible, but where it can be accommodated, then those are put in place. And also from a employer point of view is making sure that we are working with clients who takes well-being seriously.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, yeah, definitely when in construction, a lot of it the culture comes from the client that you're working with.
Yeah.
Even if you're wanting to try and implement something, sometimes it can be a bit hard if you've got a client that's wanting opposite.
Exactly. So it's making sure that our workers and employees know that we are there for them, and we will try and advocate for them as best as we can to get whatever support might be needed within reason, because it's always within reason. Unfortunately, you're working on a construction site, so we also have to think about the practicality of it as well.
What one adjustment do you think would have helped you at work?
Like I said, I've had this for about 10, 15 years now, if not longer. As Veleta said, if I had a workplace with the sort of help they would have given, they would tell you about the Samaritans, Lighthouse, but no one spoke about women and the changes that we're going to be, or where I can go. Like I said, I worked in this industry quite some time, and even when I had to go abroad and I was working abroad, and if you go to a hot country and you're already boiling, and you're boiling even 20 times more in a hot country, and you're fanning yourself, and your brain's on fire. You're standing in the shower in the middle of the day, and it's, cold shower to cool down. I just couldn't speak to anyone. I just couldn't. I mean, they're expecting things to be done. Deadlines for this, audits for that. And then you think, well, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it?
I think also with the awareness that is being, I think menopause is being talked about more now than before. So there's a lot of awareness, but also you still need that training element of it as well. And from an HR point of view, us in HR, we talk a lot about employee assistance programs. So most businesses now have what is called as an EAP, which is an employee assistance program, which provides support and sometimes counselling to employees and workers. So there is that element that whether if they don't feel comfortable speaking to their business about it, or they want to keep it private and confidential, that support is also there for them. They can seek support from that external company. It's not something that the company will find out that you've told somebody that you're going through the menopause unless you want them to relay that to the business, but it's all confidential. And a lot of business now are moving towards having that in place. So having that in place is also an added support for the people going through these symptoms, so they have an outlet where they can speak to if they don't feel comfortable speaking.
But you see, Veleta, that's great, and it's great for women now, today. For me, 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't around. It just simply wasn't there. And I'm glad it's now, companies are now recognizing this. You have to also understand, because the workforce is older. I mean, I was on a site a couple of months ago, and there was a guy 76 on a construction site. 76. And I'm just thinking, it's because of the expertise, the experience, the knowledge that he brings to the site that they've kept him. And they would be doing, as you rightly say, a disservice just because someone's going through the change in life, to sideline them, because with them goes the experience, the knowledge, and everything else they bring to the table, years of working in industries that they can transfer over into the job they're now doing.
You've obviously talked about like Samaritans and support and mental health challenges around physical health going is like, do you, Lisa, have anything that you do particularly to help with mental health?
I listen to them and I talk to them, and I think when they come into my gym, sometimes the first 15-20 minutes could be them talking, and to me that is, if you've got someone to talk to, as Jen has just said, I might be a little bit outside of their immediate family. Well, I definitely am. And I think just to listen to their woes, their worries, their symptoms, and they also know I've got contacts which I can put them onto to help. But yeah, I'm actually running the marathon for the Mind charity, mental health, because we're massively affected mental health-wise. Our confidence drops, our self-esteem goes. We think we're no good at anything. We just Charlie and Harry's mom. You know, we even lose our name. So I think mental health is a massive, massive part of menopause. I think it's overused now, the word mental health, but the nitty gritty of it is we are affected, and everything, as I said earlier, it's a massive circle. You're tired, you get brain fog, your joints ache, your muscles decrease in size, your bones become brittle, and it's just a whole jigsaw, and we need to just put all those pieces together as and when we can.
And what would you say to women who are feeling guilty about spending time prioritising their own health because they've got to look after the kids, they've got to do the job, they've got to look after the house?
Yeah, really good question. I don't think we should feel guilty for looking after our own well-being. I think one of the sayings that my colleague used to say to me was, if you don't put your own mask on first, if you're on a flight and you've got to jump off, for example, who else are you going to save? So I think you've got to look after yourself first. And I think if you feel better, you're going to make everybody around you feel better, positive.
Well, if you head up a household or you are in charge of certain things around the house,
you're going to do things better. You're going to be stronger. Yeah. You're going to be stronger mentally. You're going to be stronger physically, and you are going to feel that much better about yourself, which will then, I
think you'd be more approachable. Actually, if you're going to be, miserable, people are not going to want to approach you.
Yeah. I think it's from an HR perspective. Over the years, I've heard a lot of women actually voice their concern about feeling that they're not doing enough because they're going through the changes and they don't feel like they're as competent as they were before all these changes. Having to write things down because they can't remember it.
I do it all the time.
Are you looking at my notes?
I'm just shifting these notes around as you say that.
Second guessing themselves. Because
not trusting in their own ability as well. It's massive. It's a massive thing, and we've got to recognise that this is just a biological change, and menopause isn't a signal to do less. It's a signal to do things differently.
Yeah, I find, obviously I work for myself, actually when I'm starting to get brain fog, it's not great when you're in front of clients trying to prove that you're an expert at something and then you can't remember a basic word.
What you're an expert in.
We've talked a lot about pushing through it, and that's what you did, Jen. Is there any signs that someone should seek medical or specialist support, do you think?
Oh my gosh. This is Lisa. Who's answering this one?
We can all answer this, actually.
I would say taking away the HR and the employer side of it, from a personal side of it, I said yes. Sometimes you do need to seek that medical support. You have to recognise sometimes when it's getting a bit too much. I know it's brain fog, memory loss, and you're constantly sweating and stuff like that. Sometimes by you hearing a medical person diagnosing and saying, well, it is perimenopause, I think you're going through, it kind of make you a little bit happier that you're not going crazy.
You're not the only one, and you're not going alone.
Recently there was a study done that says women who are going through menopause, their brain changes. So that's going around at the minute. So for me, yes, it's easier when you seek that medical help to confirm that you are not actually going mental. It's just that you're going through life changes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think for people, I would say yes sometimes. And as you say, with the HRT, it's not for everyone, because some people who are going through medical issues, they might not be able to take it. So it's how can you seek alternative to the HRT? And that's something you have to discuss with your medical profession, because if you have a medical condition, they always say, don't go try an alternative before you speak to your professional. So I would say...
Yeah, I would say GP, I would say menopause specialist doesn't always put you straight onto HRT. She will listen to you and say whether that's appropriate for you or not. And I actually think early intervention actually helps women feel themselves again, and it protects their long-term health. So essentially, I think you get that extra support if you feel like that.
And you were going to give us some links to some of
I've got
those
some
people
links.
that we can add on.
Yeah, we'll put those links at the end for you.
I think as well, I've heard of stories where GPs haven't recognised it straight away, and so actually sometimes you have to push it a bit. Well, my wife as well, she was told that she couldn't be perimenopausal, even though her periods were like...
I've heard this 1,000 times.
Yeah, and then... And so actually we've just got to, you know, if you think, you know yourselves better than anyone, don't you? So if you think you need to see someone, go and see them.
Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate.
Now, we touched upon talking about men in the conversation earlier. How do you think we bring men into that conversation without making them feel uncomfortable or excluded?
I think it's making them aware. Sometimes it's, as I mentioned before, it is not a woman issue, it's a workplace issue. And once they become aware of how the symptoms affect women and what to look out for, and also their senior leaders buy into that and are open conversation about it, the men tend to react a little bit better, especially when they have been given the training and the understanding, because sometimes it's just the awareness piece. If they become aware of that it's the symptoms, especially now that we're talking about andropause, it's not just a woman issue, it's now a workplace issue. It affects both men and women. So once they get the awareness, I think from their perspective, they will understand that literally this might not be a performance issue, it might just be a symptoms. But once you take that away from the culture, and the culture is now that everyone is treated as individuals rather than one size fit all, then the men will look at it. And again, it's all about training. So one of the best thing a company can do is literally to make sure that their people are trained. And once their people are trained, they are more confident in approaching other topics. And just like the men, if they line manage people and they have the understanding of menopause, they can be more empathetic to the people that they are managing. They can take the emotions into it rather than performance managing them, when literally all they need is a little bit of support. And I feel that men tend to work better when they know that it's not about their performance, more like it's more about getting the work done. And once there's a bit of reasonable adjustments in there for someone, then they know that this person will probably go back to performing the way that they will do. So on our worker portal and on our employee portal, which they have all access to, it's got all that information on there. It's got information on menopause, and it's also got information on andropause. And he also tells them that it affects them just the same as women. We're not saying it's going to affect you in your 20s, your 30s, even your 40s. It might only affect you in your 50s. I don't know. But who knows? Everybody's body is different. So you can't put an age on it.
So we're going to have to wrap up shortly. It's been a great conversation. I think we could spend hours on this topic. Just finally, kind of, what do you think a menopause-inclusive construction industry looks like in 5 years' time?
I think it'll be a lot better. And that's simply because the workforce is getting older.
Yeah.
And it will be a lot better because 5 years' time, I'm not going to... 5 years' time, obviously, a lot of people are going to be still in the construction. They're still going to be working on the major project that we have going on in the West Midlands here. And they're going to be older. We're going to have a lot more women. I think it's going to be more recognisable, and not so much for people in construction, but the men are going to be aware of it, working in construction, so they know what signs, how to help women as well as women in their lives personally. So, yeah, I think it will be a whole lot better.
I think we're going to have some stronger women in the industry. Sharon.
I think in 5 years' time, a menopause inclusive construction industry is one where menopause is treated as a normal workplace health consideration, not a stigma, where managers are confident having supportive conversation. Practical adjustments are routine rather than exceptional in the site environment, to be honest. And everyone treat these experienced women with some dignity and a bit of emotion, and we can retain all these highly skilled women rather than leaving them to it, or them feeling that they have to leave the industry. Because as we mentioned before, we really don't want these highly experienced women to leave the industry. The construction industry actually need them. So I think at every stage, as long as the conversation keeps going, they can strive in there.
Excellent. Work. Yeah, really good point to end on there, Veleta. So as we wrap up, what I really hope comes through from today's conversation is that menopause is a health issue, not something to be embarrassed about or pushed through in silence. In construction, we talk a lot about looking after each other, staying safe and doing our best work. Understanding that menopause is part of that. Whether you're experiencing it yourself, supporting someone else, or simply learning more, awareness makes a real difference. And while we've spoken a lot about women, it's important to remember that menopause and hormone-related changes can affect trans men, non-binary people, and others too. This is about people, not labels. If today's discussion encourages even one more open conversation, then it's been worth having. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Veleta, Jen and Lisa for being so open and generous with your experiences. Sometimes a bit too much from Jen. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.